Okay, for this one, I wanted to talk about the importance of being clear with the stuff that you write, even if you write tablature, which is kind of stupid, but everybody does it at first, and there's a chasm between properly learning how to read and write music and learning rock music, metal music, music that you're listening to, or the guys that are playing it didn't necessarily know how to read and write either, or if they did, it was like pretty rudimentary. So mostly based on rock playing, playing all over the neck, and if you play that way, there's nothing wrong with it. I did it. I still do it. It's fine. It's just a different way to do things. And there's a big chasm between those two, like pedagogies, rock pedagogy, if you want to call it that, and classical pedagogy, which comes from like string players teaching violin, cello, viola, teaching things in positions, all that type of stuff. So this might be brand new information to you if you've never done anything about that or don't know nothing about it. So they're totally, totally different, and there's just a big chasm between the two things. If you're learning how to read but you want to play rock, those things take a long time to coalesce. And if you don't, you just want to play rock and you don't care about reading, then just play. If you want to learn about music theory and you want to learn about all modes and all that other stuff, as far as from my experience teaching and playing music, you have to learn how to read. You can't cheat and learn modes and complex things about music theory if you know absolutely nothing about where the notes are on the guitar, what the chords sound like, just kind of basic stuff and more. You can't, sometimes people ask me stuff like that and they don't have any experience reading, or, like it's almost like not worth trying to answer because it would take so many layers of unwrapping to get to the answer. It's really hard. I've had lessons like that where I try to do it and I'm like, this is not working. It's a waste of time. Either I'm just doing a bad job explaining it, or I have to keep unwrapping and unwrapping to get to the kernel of the idea of truth of where we are. So anyway, this is something that I'm working on. It's like in between metal and something else. And I just was thinking like, okay, I should show what this looks like and how you would play it if you don't write it correctly. So it's in the key of B minor. Now, you might see Roman numerals everywhere, and the Roman numerals above each measure represent the position where you're supposed to play it. Okay? This is common in pedagogy. Like you could see, okay, play it with your hand in seventh position. That's that first Roman numeral in the first measure is 7, right? So you'd be playing that D that's written as the 7th fret of your G. You wouldn't play it on the 3rd fret of your B string. So here's just an example. If I play the first 2 measures and I just play them the way they're written without the position stuff, here's what I have. Now, that doesn't, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It still outlines B minor. That's not what I was after. If you look at it closer, because you're in 7th position, that limits where you can play the notes that are written. So then you get the idiosyncrasy, the interesting things you can do with the guitar that you can't do with anything else. Okay? So the D you play is on the 7th fret of G. The C sharp that's underneath it would be on the 11th fret of D, so you already have this dissonance now. Okay? And the B that's written, you can play it 2 different ways. You could lower the note to B. You could lower C sharp to B. Which is okay, but what I decided instead was play open B. So now you get twice as much dissonance. underneath that would be a B pedal tone, right? Way more interesting than. So it's important to be really clear. Now, if you tab that out, it would be fine, you know. But I don't know. It seems just kind of a waste of time to do tab stuff, you know, in the long run. The next one, this is the third measure, the one that's marked A. It has the Roman numeral 7, right? So you're going to play D the same way on the 7th fret. Then the next note, C sharp. Oh, that's the same thing. Let's go to the next measure, the one marked with the Roman numeral 9. So that first note's an E, so it's going to be the 9th fret. Then the next note's a C sharp, so let's see how you going to play that. It's 11. Right? And then the B again is open B. So if I put those two ideas together, I get this. If I don't have the information I just described, and I just play it the way it's written without the positions, it's this. Yeah, I guess that sounds okay, but I think this sounds creepier and weirder. So the next one's marked 7 again, and that is D, C natural, which is 10, B, and then the next one's the weirdest one of all. Because you have multiple notes that are the same note, but you're playing them different ways. This is the one with the Roman numeral mark 4. So the first note you're playing is B. You're playing it as the 4th fret of G. The next note is a written A sharp, right? So B flat. But it would be too weird to read that many B's, so I made it A sharp. So they're right next to each other as far as pitch, but they're far away from each other on the fretboard. It would be the 4th fret of G and the 8th fret of D, as in dog. And then the next note's an open B. And then the next note's the B you're fretting. And that's going to outline A flat minor. Right? So the 4 measures put together sound like this, the way they're supposed to be. And that also moves, but that's okay, I didn't do it. D in that one measure too. I just missed it. I forgot. And then you just have some add 9 chords. So, without all this information, it sounds like not so great. That's just not super great. And I could keep going here, but it's the same idea. I'll do a little bit more just so you get an idea of just how important it is to be precise about what you want, right? So, fourth position, open B. I could also be even more precise and write zeros above the note that's open if it's really not clear, but for this it seems pretty clear, so I didn't. I'm not even sure if I could play this the way it's written and have it sound anything but crap. Yeah, like I can't even play it very well, except for that way. And I'm playing it pretty much with every, like, you know, with almost every finger except my pinky, because classical guitar players generally don't use a pinky, but not that I'm anything classical or anything really. Just that style, that technique is almost every finger. That is another funny thing is when I talk to classical guitar players that are strictly that, they always talk about their teachers say how important it is to not have your pinky on the guitar because it's, you know, spoils the resonance of the guitar and all this stuff. And I always joke because any museum that has a picture of a guy playing a lute, his pinky is on the body of the lute. And, you know, they're not too dissimilar. It's not like the lute you know, is any different from the guitar as far as the way it's built and how you play it and the things you do to play it well and the things you don't do. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot more to this, but this is just a general thing on how to write stuff clearly. So if you have a bad memory like me, you look at it in a week and you remember how to play it, or if you're just playing a lot of stuff, you remember how to play it. It's you know, if you're playing all the time and you're looking at tons and tons of music, your memory will be shot. You won't be able to remember lots of stuff unless you're only playing, you know, 12 songs with a band for months at a time. But if you're looking at, you know, 50, I don't know, 20 or 30 pieces of music a week, you have a really hard time remembering even the stuff you wrote. And explaining it to other people who, you know, are like, yeah, I want to play this, and you have no idea how to play it anymore is wasting their time and your own. So this is all helpful stuff. I mean, if you have time, sometimes if I have time, I record it, but I don't always have time to do that, and this is much faster because I can do this without even an instrument in my hand. I can mostly just write it. But sometimes I do get myself into trouble writing stuff that I can't play. But this is not one of those things. So anyway, yeah, Roman numerals, important things, how to write positions for guitar.